Body tea. Just got a new flavor, peach. It's gonna be a bonnet kind of day today because I washed my hair yesterday. It's raining. Oh, that peach flavor's gonna be good. So a little peach. Just a swiggle, a swig of peach. I gotta shake it up. And we're gonna be doing ginger turmeric situation. So let's see if he's gonna come on the live. It's kind of early, but so I'm about to cook dinner early, get it out the way so I can rest for the rest of the day. And today I got to mop the house. It's funny how the tables turn. It's funny how the tables turn, don't it? Making some tea. Hey, y'all. Hey. Okay, I gotta let that cool down. And I'm finna, I gotta grate some cheese. So let me get the grater. I gotta grate some cheese. My pumpkins have requested lemon pepper wings, macaroni and cheese, broccoli. That's what's gonna be for dinner today. They not here. They with their grandma, which is amazing. Taylor, hey. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning. I'm gonna cook dinner early so to get it out the way. So by the time they come home from grandma's house, dinner is ready, and that's lunch for school tomorrow. So I gotta grate some cheese. Y'all coming in the live hot, welcome, welcome. Tap the screen, like the screen, ask some questions. Say hey, when y'all come in, say something. Say something, the gifted one. Hey, welcome to the live. Hey, y'all. Yeah, when y'all come in, say something. I'm about to grate some cheese. Let me get a bowl. It's raining. Is it raining where y'all at? I just called my daughter. She said it's not raining. Where's she at? And grandma's house is like 20 minutes away, which is always crazy to me. Where's my kitchen scissors? It's funny how them tables turn. Y'all, we living in some treacherous, interesting, sad and unfortunate times. Like the reality of the reality is I posted a video about how I posted a video, maybe I should cut this, about how men don't hold men accountable, and I gave an example from my own personal experience. And I'm not wrestling. I'm on the fence about responding to somebody's comment because it's so hard to decipher if it's a genuine question, right? As a man, to ask a woman, well, what do you want me to do about this? And it's like, maybe ask another man. I don't know. There's just certain things I don't feel like men should be asking. Like, if you don't know what to do with it, sir, I don't really know what to tell you. But this is my reality. This is my story to tell. This is my page where I'm telling my story. maybe you should, on your page, tell your story. Or on your page, ask men, because over here it's Black Girl Say Something. The majority demographic that follows me is women. I'm not answering no questions to no man. Who that? What they say? Why they filtered that comment? If this comment is safe, TikTok, just give us a break. You said what you said. I missed it. Dang, where'd it go? Yeah, men know the answer and they know how to find out. It's a game. Yeah, it's a game. In my big age, that's why I don't believe that. Yeah, in my big age, I gave 2 examples just yesterday. And I have so many more, right? Because again, sometimes it don't be the men holding other men accountable. It be the women too. Women don't know how to hold people accountable in general because we're taught to give we're taught to give people grace. Grace. Just like one of my younger brothers. I don't fuck with that. I don't fool with him. You hear me? Because even though we 2 years apart, I recognize that as we got older, he was becoming an incel. And I was just like, nah, that can't be my brother. You know, and giving grace. I'm like, nah, that can't be my brother. So I have a heart-to-heart conversation with him to see where his head was at. And this was when I was going through y'all like the live, get y'all daily heart me gifts and stuff. Y'all know I do these story times. If you are new here, I'm Dr. Appleton. I have a doctorate in health science, and we gonna learn. Whether it be through my experience, whether it be through whatever. But a lot of my research have to do with Black women specifically because I'm a Black woman. Black mothers even more specifically because I'm also a Black mother. And really just my journey and my experience, right? I love statistics. So if you don't believe in numbers, this probably not going to be a conversation, which I often have to block people because if I tell them what the numbers say and they tell me, oh, that's not true for me, baby, that's an outlier. So please don't come over here trying to tell me what is and what ain't. I know what the statistics say. I am, in a lot of cases, the statistic, and I am also the outlier in a lot of situations. Anywho, fast forward now. So I'm telling the story time about how when I realized he was becoming an incel, I have a heart-to-heart conversation with him. And this is when I'm just newly recognizing the patterns in my marriage that I was being abused. So I was talking to him about it, and my brother had also worked in corrections. So as he's working in corrections, I'm having these conversations with him, and I'm just like, okay, cool. So anywho, he leaves corrections and he becomes a truck driver. And he has a girlfriend. And when I say I really like this girl for him, the girl love him down. She come into my house for Thanksgiving, stuff like that. She really, really care about him. He was going through a dark time in his life, and she found solace in calling me to talk to me about it. And I said to my brother, I said, I'm a woman first. I don't condone bullshit. If you don't mean her no well, leave her alone. This is what I told my brother because I'm his older sister. I said, if you don't mean that young lady no well, leave her alone. And he said to me, he said, but what if she leave me and she finds somebody better? I say, then move out her way so she could do that. That's on some hold him accountable type stuff. So anywho, they break up. They move on from each other or whatever. But he start going to therapy. So I'm like, oh, that's what's up. This ninja going to therapy, call himself. I'm starting dinner early, y'all. So when my kids come home from grandma, they can't ask me what's to eat. They told me before they left that they wanted lemon pepper wings, macaroni and cheese, and broccoli. And they're going to have that for lunch at school tomorrow because they school don't offer lunch. So whatever they have at home is what they have at school. So anywho, so I told him to leave that girl alone. So he leaves the girl alone or whatever, and then he started going to therapy. But he in therapy to try to get her back. I told him, I say, no, you're wrong. So anywho, all this is going on at the same time. I'm having these side conversations with my mama like, something ain't right by fool. Like, fool ain't right. Like, that's how I talk. So I'm like, something ain't right. I'm not calling him a fool. I'm just like, that's how I talk. So I was like, something ain't right about him. You feel me? Like, something ain't right. Like, I don't think he really fool with women like that. Not in no, oh, he's on the other side of the fence. But on some, he controlling, he manipulative. You know, he very, he just not right. I didn't know, I'm not going to sit up here and say narcissistic because at the time I was not in therapy yet to know what was what. But I was like, something ain't right. I didn't say words like he was crossing her boundary. I was just like, he manipulative, dog. Like, something ain't right. And I know manipulation to be when you saying you're doing something so things can work out in your favor. It don't take a rocket scientist to know what manipulation is. You don't have to go to therapy to know what manipulation is. And sometimes you don't even see that you being manipulated. Anywho, y'all if y'all here on the live, y'all enjoying the little story or whatever, give it some likes. Show me some love as a creator. I'm in here, you know, telling y'all some stuff. Maybe y'all will get some gain from this. So he told me he was going to therapy, but he telling me, you know, because we getting closer as adults. So he going to therapy so that he could get her back. So I was like, nah, fool, she done moved on. Like, you can't be telling me you going to therapy to get her back, because what if she don't want you back? I say that's part of the therapy process that you got to accept. So, boom. Time go on. He move on. He end up being with somebody else. Yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Y'all know how the story go. Boy, they know how to jump from one to one to one to one. They know how to, I don't know what it is about. And that be the part that get me. Because as a man, you could hop out of a relationship and just hop back in another one. And I know women do it too. But it's like, as somebody who have more brothers than sisters, the men tend to be the ones who know how to just in and out, over here, over there. And I be wanting to ask them, well, what did you learn from that last experience? Because I don't even think that was a learning curve. Anywho, so now when I'm going through my abuse, I'm going through therapy now myself, and I discover that I'm being emotionally, financially, and emotionally abusive. And when I start to discover this, it turns physically abusive. And that physical abuse, which I have a video that I posted like just last night about it, that physical abuse granted me a restraining order, okay? I was granted a restraining order. Oh, also, it went to trial, by the way. So, in my state, I don't know how it works anywhere else. In the state of Florida, if you go to get a restraining order and the judge finds any basis to it, they give you a temporary. When you get the temporary order, the person the restraining order is being put on has to say, this is not true. And then they give you a court date. And the court date is to pretty much what they call take it to trial. And for it to go to trial, that's where you present your evidence and all of that stuff. So we're presenting evidence, and the restraining order gets put in place for 5 years. Which means they found that what he was doing to me to be a danger to me and my children. This restraining order also included the children. So the story time that's on my pages I know men don't find men accountable. I know men didn't hold men accountable. When his homeboy, shortly thereafter me getting a restraining order, or I was granted a restraining order to keep me and my children safe. You see the language? I was granted a restraining order to keep me and my children safe. They don't grant you a restraining order if the story ain't true. I'll say it again. They don't grant you a restraining order if they find no basis to it. Okay? They don't grant you a restraining order if they find your story to not be true. Okay? How do they find your story to be true? 1, with evidence. 2, with cross-examination. Anybody who's ever watched a Little Baby Law show knows they ask me some questions. They ask him some questions. Let's just say when they asked him some questions, he lied. The judge found the lie. Right? So case in point, I'll give y'all one example, because sometimes this is a learning place. Sometimes y'all need examples, right? I have a master's in health science with a concentration in higher education. Let's just say I know how to teach. So get your notes. So this is what happened. There was an incident, one that was not so physical. The physical one, they already knew what time it was, because I'll tell y'all about the physical one. But the one that wasn't so physical was, we were having an argument over the phone. And at the time, I work for myself. Y'all shop my eyewear line, topnotcheyes.com. We're having a 65% off frame only sale. My business used to be booming, and then I don't know, as this year started and business has been slow. I haven't had a sale since December. And because of that, I've decided I can no longer keep up the expense of the business, so I'm not filling prescriptions for glasses and contacts anymore. Top Notch Eyewear, I'm an optician, a licensed optician who's also dual nationally certified. And I've been trying to work at one of these like shops like America's Best, but they don't like when you have your own business. So I've been having a hard time finding work. Anywho, let's back to the story. So I work for myself. I work from home. I have my little home office. Matter of fact, got my little home office. See my little office right there? There's a lensometer. There's a frame cleaner. There's inventory. That's my office back there. All right, cool. Back to the story. So I come home to work, and I just dropped the kids off to school. He would do this thing where he would leave the house super duper early before the kids so he don't have to take them to school. And he was also, I started him a barber business. I sent him to barber school. Don't act like, there's just some things you do for the greater good. You think you're doing something good for somebody, and really you're not. You hindering them. So I paid for him to go to barber school. So he still don't have his barber license, by the way. But I paid for him to go to barber school in 2017. Started the mobile barber shop in 2018. I handled all of the logistics, the invoices, everything. Only thing I didn't do was cut the hair. And the only thing I couldn't do for him was take the barber license for him. So, and he still don't have the license. Anywho, so it's 2022. It's 2022 or 2021. Anywho, whatever the case may be, we was having one of those arguments. He had left early before the kids. I'm thinking he at work. I come back home from work. I come back home from dropping the kids off to school, and I'm like, I'm just going to work from home today because I didn't have any clients. And I have a mobile optical, so I go to people. So I come home, and while he calls me, and I didn't answer the phone right away because my children go to a school where it's not like a drop-off line. I actually get out the car and I walk them to the door. So he was calling my phone in that time, and I didn't answer. So when I get back in the car, I answered. At this point, we had already had discussions about getting divorced. I have all the recordings on my phone. We had already had discussions about getting divorced. He already was doing things where he was like destroying my stuff. He had punched the wall. He had broke his wrist. Like he was in a cast because he tried to hit me, but he punched the wall. The wall broke his wrist. It was just crazy. So we was already having issues. So one of the issues was I was not answering the phone when I dropped the kids off, while I was dropping the kids off to school, because he claims once I answered the phone that he wanted to tell the kids good morning and have a good day. So I'm like, yeah, but you left. I didn't even know you was leaving this morning so early, this, that, and the third. I would have made sure that I called you. Like, I'm trying to smooth out the situation. The situation not getting smoothed out. So I'm like, damn, what's going on? So he like, oh, don't hang up this phone. He started going in on me. I'm like, oh my God. Like, dog, I just dropped these kids to school. I got some other phone calls I got to make. My other phone was ringing. He like, oh, you probably trying to divorce me. This, that, and the third. I said, well, we already kind of been talking about it. So, at this rate, where you going, we going to have to. We also had went to couples therapy. The couple therapist, he was mad with her, and he stopped her from contacting me because she told him that if he don't correct his actions, again, I'm telling y'all, men don't want to be held accountable. The lady told him, if you don't correct your actions, what's going to happen? He said, she going to divorce me. She said, no, if you don't correct your actions, you will end up going to jail. You cannot put your hands on somebody because you don't agree with them. She said, you cannot push their boundaries. This is when I started learning about boundaries. She said, you cannot push their boundaries because you don't agree with them. Okay? So, boom. He stopped the lady. He get mad with the lady. Shortly after that therapy session is when he started to get physically violent because he recognized the error of his way. When they recognize the error of their ways, they get violent. Okay? And I'm going to say all until I'm proven not. Okay? So, when they recognize the error of his way, he started to get violent. When he recognized that I was right and he was wrong, it started to get violent. Case in point, back to what happened at court. So there's an incident where I'm telling y'all, he calls me, he's irate on the phone, and I'm just like, damn, this is crazy. So we have a circular driveway. So I pull into the driveway. No, I usually pull up. So it's a carport and a circle. So I pull up to the carport, and he blocks my car in. But I'm not pulled in all the way, so I back up just enough to come out of the driveway and leave because, mind you, we're already on the phone arguing. One of the things that we had that we've had issues with before is I don't like arguing on the phone while I'm driving. And I don't want you arguing with me while you're driving and I'm in the car. But these are things that before therapy, I didn't know were me setting boundaries and them being disrespected. So, for example, one time we was arguing, I tell him, hey, you getting too loud, you getting too rowdy with me. And he veers the car like that to scare me. It scared the crap out of me. And I'm like, please don't do that again. And he was like, oh, you don't tell me what to do. Okay? So when I pull off from the house because we was arguing and I didn't want to be alone in the house with him, we drives and he puts me on like a high-speed chase. Bumper to bumper, bumper to bumper. He's chasing me. I need another bowl. Bumper to bumper, he's chasing me. And in court, when the judge asked me about that story that happened, I'm telling it to y'all like how I'm telling it. He chased me and we end up in a Walmart, and I park the car and I go in Walmart because I'm like, if we're inside where there's other people, because at this point I'm suffering the abuse in silence. This is the whole purpose of Black Girl Say Something. I'm suffering the abuse in silence. So nobody know that this had been going on for months. Nobody know that we have been in therapy. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So this is my first time seeing that, oh my God, he really don't have no regard for himself, because we're in a Walmart and he's knocking things down in the Walmart, y'all. And like, why you won't talk to me? You not gonna divorce me? I can't live without you rhetoric. I get scared immediately. So I leave outside of the Walmart and I go to the Jamba Juice. And when I'm at the Jamba Juice, the young girls that's there, thank God for them, they said, you want us to call the police? What y'all think I said? What do y'all think I said? We in a current social climate where people are like, why did people call the police? Why don't they call the police? What y'all think? Yes or no? Did I call the police? Yes or no? Did I tell them young ladies, yes, call the police, or no? Unfortunately, I said no. Tanya, unfortunately, girl, like this live. Thank you for commenting. Unfortunately, I said no. Unfortunately, I said no. So in that same moment, I call his mom. I call his grandma, his great grandma. Her and my daughter share the same birthday. I still have a relationship with her. Unfortunately, I said no. Why, Tanya? Unless you are faced with that situation, you don't know why. Learning curve. Tess, you say you understand. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? All I can do is pass on the story in the way that it happened. That is true to me, right? Because I'll tell you this: when we were in court, I'm gonna get back to the learnable moment real quick. But I said no, and so in the Jamba Juice, I call his grandma, and his grandma said, because she hadn't known what was going on, and I'm crying. I'm telling her, I said, Grandma, I'm scared for my life. At this point, I said, I'm scared for my life. I am making lemon pepper wings, macaroni and cheese, and broccoli. This my children's request. So I'm grating up some smoked Gouda right now. I'm doing all the prep because I'm telling y'all the story, so I could prep while I tell the story. I can't cook and talk because then now my food gonna get burnt. I like my kitchen to be nice and quiet when I'm cooking. But I'm doing prep, so I was like, I'll tell y'all this story time. Kill some time on live. But unfortunately, I didn't tell them call the police. He had a thing on him, so you kind of know how that was gonna go. All of this is happening, y'all. I just dropped my kids to school. I don't want to have to deliver life-changing news to my children when I pick them up from school. You see what I'm saying? It's so much parts to that. Anywho, so let's get into the details of the court. So I tell the court what happened. They cross-examine me. I tell them what happened. When it's time for them to cross-examine him, he said none of that ever happened. He said specifically, his words, if any of that ever happened, why didn't she call the police? So the judge, there was an objection, and the objection is you can't ask questions at this time. So they took that back, right? And so they asked him the question of, the morning that she's talking about, did y'all have an argument? And he said, no, I just called her because I wanted to check on my kids. So they asked him, who usually drops the kids off to school in the morning? He said, me. But he had also was telling them he didn't know if I was going to take the kids from him that day. So they asked him, what gave you the idea that she would take the kids away from you? And he said, because she had been saying she wanted a divorce. He kind of been like putting it on me he was trying to gauge. I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was putting it on me in a way where it was like, I want a divorce, but he doesn't. Typical. So they asked him, when you came home and she was home, what did you do? He said, well, I didn't do anything. So then they said, well, how did you end up with her at the Walmart? Did y'all ride together? He said, no, I followed her there. Boom. That's lie number one. So when there was a point where they let him question me, and I don't remember exactly why. Maybe because he didn't have a lawyer. He had a lawyer, And then the lawyer removed himself from his case. And then I was able to get a lawyer. So when they asked him, they let him ask me a question. And one of the questions he asked me was, if all of this was going on, why didn't you call the police? So he said, so my lawyer said, oh, she don't have to answer that question. Because just like y'all say, why didn't I call the police? The reality is we've been living in a climate where calling the police in a dangerous situation on a man can definitely result in him losing his life. While I wholeheartedly believe that he should go to jail for the crimes committed against me, I didn't want to be a witness to him being unalived. I didn't want to bear witness to having to explain to my children why something like that would happen to their daddy. Because up until this point, I was suffering in silence and they had not witnessed the abuse. So I thought, I'm going to get back to that. Number 2, he had broke his arm. Remember I told y'all he hit a wall. He swung at me, he hit a wall, he broke his arm. They asked him about how did he sustain the injury. He said he was shadow boxing and punched the wall. They ain't believe that shit for a minute. They asked me where I was. They asked him where I was. And I'm not laughing because it's comedic. I'm laughing because it's stupid. It's not ha-ha funny. It's ha-ha stupid. They asked him where I was in relation to the wall. He ended up telling them she was standing in front of me. And I wasn't trying to hit her. When them people granted that restraining order for the 5 years, we're still in the midst of that 5 years, y'all. He said, so I can't see my kids. I'm going to lose my family. He started acting up in the court. I know that judge was like, I'm glad that I'm able to save another young woman's life. Because I don't know about y'all, but every so often, not every so often, because not everyone is reported, right? Statistically, the time to leave is the most dangerous time. Drop a purple heart if you agree. When it's time to leave, that is statistically the most dangerous time. Okay? So, boom. Here we are. I'm talking about holding men accountable. Again, the man never saw the error of his ways, even with the restraining order. Because, can I tell y'all something? I had to get a restraining order on his mama, too. I got a restraining order on his mama, too. I told that story a long time ago on live. Restraining order got put on his mama, too. Because when they came and they served him that restraining order when he was here at the house, that temporary, that crazy old hag came and said, you know he ain't never hit you or them kids. You know he ain't never do nothing to you. Crazy times. Good morning. Crazy, crazy times. So, that's the reality of it. So, when I have a man in my comments of my video saying, what do we do about that? Thank you. What do we do about that? Ask your homeboys. As a woman, I can't tell you how men should hold men accountable. I'm not a man. There's just certain conversations I'm not going to have with a man for men. I'm not doing that. As a woman, why should I? That's my lived experience. The man on daddy told me the apple don't fall far from the tree. And I say, that's not a good thing, sir. And this was him trying to convince me, why you just don't drop all of this and let him come back home? I said, can you never come back to my house and ask me no dumb shit like that ever again? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Don't ever come back to cross my door with that. So, that's the reality of it. That is the reality. Let me put y'all on this side because now I got to clean this chicken. I prepped it yesterday. Oh, the lighting is so much better on this side because, you know, the window. I cleaned it yesterday and I just kind of, you know, you got to put your lemon, your water, your lime, your lemon, your lime, all that. A little salt. Y'all, it's so hot. The cold water not even cold no more. I tried to take a cold shower yesterday because I went to an outdoor event. When I tell you, I have to put a little more vinegar in that water. But yeah, so the question of the day was, I forgot what the question is, but the person asked the question on my video where I'm talking about men holding men accountable, and they want to know what can they do. I feel like ask other men. Ask other men that are emotionally capable of handling that type of question. Because the reality is, nobody wants to. When I had one video a long time ago, y'all remember when the lady was homeless and her two of her 4 children, or 3 of her 4 children died. And I say part of the problem is y'all be saying hold moms accountable, but the mom accountability is the fact that she has the kids. The mom's accountability is the fact that she has the children. How much more accountable can we get? And I feel like that's just common sense, right? How do you hold parents accountable? By them having the children, by them taking care of the children. Right? There's no accountability in the fact that they, like, let's be honest. There's no accountability in the fact that the court gave me 100% custody, even though the man filed for divorce and said he wanted 100% custody and the house to be sold. So if you sell the house, where your children gonna live? I feel like when we have those topics of accountability, I talk about a lot too. Why children shouldn't coexist in online spaces. It's not enough to check your children's history. You have to consume the same content as them to be able to identify what content is being fed to them. Right? What content is being fed to them? Because if you don't know what content is being fed to them, then you take away their ability to live authentic experiences, because everything is an algorithm. Already shredded up the cheese. That's going to be for the mac. Let me get that lemon pepper. Where is it? Where is it? The garlic powder, the onion powder. Got to have that lemon pepper. I got to have more lemon pepper somewhere because that's not enough. And I'm going to have to make it in the oven because our air fryer broke. I like air fryer wings. They cook so quick and so even, and they're the right amount of crispy, but I'm gonna have to cook these in the oven. And please don't take that lemon pepper, because I have no intention on leaving the house today. Garlic, cinnamon, oh God, no lemon pepper. Don't tell me I gotta make some lemon pepper. Oh. I'm here, y'all. Anywho, so that's the reality of it. The reality is, right? And all that one podcast, all he said was, and I know dudes like this. Sometimes they say to their homeboy, bruh, you scaring the hoes. Once they say that, they know they got a weird homeboy in the bunch. But if you don't think you the weird homeboy, you probably the weird homeboy. If you don't understand, and there's a one guy, long time ago, there was a video where he said he was out. What I want to say? He was saying he was out and he recognized that he was following too close behind a young lady, so he just, in the grocery store, so he went to another aisle. Situational awareness. I'm teaching my son situational awareness. You know how you do that? You take the no damn devices when we out. No phones. It's them damn phones for real. Right? But it's funny how the same people who were saying it's them damn phones is the same people who gave the phones. The same people who create these apps don't even let their kids get on social media till they graduate high school, till they go to college. That don't tell you something? The same people who telling y'all not to go to college, fighting for their life, making big donations for their kids to go to these Ivy League schools and get a college education. Come on, wake up! You're under spells. We need more toilet paper. Oh Lord, put one in my mouth.
You got some in your
I got a Lacona. I should have took out more wings. It's like they was frozen, so it looked like it was a lot. They ain't gonna have. I'm gonna have to cook more wings while they in school because tomorrow. Yeah, you're under spells. You don't understand that. So I put this in the bacon rack so that the wings could be a little crispy in the oven. Cause they like them a little charred. And I'm not frying no wings. I don't fry wings, honey, cause I be too stressed. Like I fry stuff, but it's just certain things I just will not be frying, and wings is one of them. Cause chicken be popping. Chicken pop worse than bacon sometimes. Yeah, you're under spells. You in the way of, oh, we shouldn't do this whole time. Not to make it a black or white thing, but the wealth gap is saying, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't, you pay for convenience. Just not too long ago, y'all was on this app arguing about who should and shouldn't, my bad, y'all, who should and shouldn't be doing Pilates whole time. Baby, I love Pilates. My Pilates body was the best body ever. Because I had a tummy tuck with a hernia repair, baby. That Pilates built my core back up. That core got built. Okay, and there's only a few ways to actually build your core. And Pilates was one of them. Right? I'm able to, because it's just a lot. It's just a lot. I don't want to get on here ranting, because this is going to go on my YouTube. This is going to go on my YouTube. What is this? This little piece of wing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's so uneven. 15. Okay, let's season it up. No, I need to do something else. I need to put them back in a bowl real quick. Let's pour this little juice off. That juice, I want them to be a little bit more dry. So let's throw them back in the bowl with the saisons. Whew. Anywho, so yeah, I just had to share that little story time with y'all, because at the end of the day has to end, right? And all you can do, I think what people don't understand about accountability is that you can't hold all the men accountable. Right? That was never the goal. But the ones that are close to you, your brothers, your uncles, your cousins, your male cousins, your homeboys. Just like there's a girl right now, she's talking about an experience with a homeboy of hers. And I had learned this a long time ago. And this is why I'm even in, anywho, let me tell y'all this. The girl say the homeboy, she hanging out with the homeboy, and he asked her for oral, and I don't even know if the TikTok gonna flag me for saying that, but he asked her for that while they was just talking, and she was like, that's weird, right? And he goes and he does whatever to himself in her presence, and she feels violated. And I commented on her video, and I'm like, I'm sorry that your trust was violated. That's why you feel the way that you do. Because again, when your trust is violated, what we know about assault can happen in many different forms, right? Your trust is violated. Once your trust is violated, then it leaves you to feel shame. There's like a whole hierarchy of feelings that happens when your trust is violated. This is why when somebody gets cheated on, it hurts, right? It doesn't feel good to go and say, I'm going to get my lick back by cheating back, because, again, your trust was violated. The person who cheated on you anticipates that you are going to do it back to them. And so that's why you don't feel made whole when you go back and do something devious to this person, if that makes sense. So I should squeeze a lemon over this, because when I make the lemon pepper wings, I like to squeeze a little lemon over it. They like them real lemony, y'all. I be on here cooking on damn TikTok, and people be like, oh, you know how to cook? Nope, I don't. I don't. Anywho, so the boy violates her trust. And I see one of my mutuals videos where she's like, oh, she saw a comment in the girl video where she said how she don't feel no empathy for what happened to Megan because, oh no, somebody left a comment and was like, oh, something about Megan Thee Stallion. And she said, how can you feel empathy for somebody you don't know? I didn't know old girl felt like that, but here's the thing about an algorithm, right? Here's the thing about an algorithm. A lot of people are feeling empathy for her and they don't know her. And nobody deserves what happened, what she experienced. But dang, that's crazy, right? So when I say holding people accountable, you got a dude, a homeboy, who y'all know is a little, he like him young, or he be beating on his baby mama, or whatever the case may be. But then you don't feel it until your little sister get her head knocked between the dresser by her boyfriend. Now you want to go kill the boyfriend. Oh, well, maybe you get what I'm saying? Now you want to go hurt the boyfriend. No. Don't you got a homeboy? Don't you got a homeboy that's a little weird like that? Ain't you a little weird like that? That's what I'm talking about accountability. Ain't nobody saying you gotta change the race in one day, but dang, what you be saying to that homeboy that be saying little stuff all weird? He's showing you pictures of some girl on Instagram. He like, yeah, I'll do whatever to that. Y'all don't think that's weird? Because it is. It is. That lust. He lusting after somebody he don't even know. I don't care what she posting. I don't care what she wearing. Have some self-control, my brother. Have some self-control. I don't care what the lyrics of her song say. Have some self-control. They was talking about that on the radio. I don't know the rapper's name, but the rapper that say, oh, another female rapper was listening to his song and he like, yeah, I know she want me. They were talking about that on the radio and I was like, that's weird. Who said that? Right? Are you checking your homeboy that exhibits no self-control? Do you even have self-control? Because if you don't got no self-control, then you don't even know that he don't have none. Right? Call an ace a ace and a spade. Ooh, it ain't season if you ain't sneezing. Uh-oh. Ooh. Self-control and empathy. Exactly. So when you say, oh, that ain't got nothing to do with me, but it's happening in your backyard with your homeboy, you go out with your homeboy and your homeboy be like, damn, you scaring the hoes. Y'all know y'all got that one weird homeboy in the homeboy group. Talk to him. Accountability. Have an intervention. But men don't be having authentic friendships. They don't have friendships where they can actually talk to their homeboy. For whatever reason. Whole time they don't even have authentic friendships, because what would make a young man think that he friends with a girl and that he could do something so salacious like that, like to her, around her, ask her that. She said, I never gave him no ideas. We never even talked about being together or nothing like that. We don't, he's been my best friend for all these years. Because I had heard a long time ago. Matter of fact, my stepdaddy told me this a long time ago. Shout out to him. R.I.P. to him. And I feel like my children's father got way out of control after he passed away. Because when I say my stepdaddy used to be beating that, sometimes I wish he was still here, because he'll beat that boy. You feel me? When I was 16, I was working my first job. I gotta clean as I go, y'all. When I was 16, I was working my first job, and the man who was my manager, he was being very, I'm trying to be safe for the internet. And I told my daughter this story. You know why I told her this story? Because she's coming of age where she's going to be entering into the workplace. And I don't want anybody to, I don't want her to think, oh, what if I lose my job? Lose that job, baby girl, because your mama going to be in their ass. Okay? But when I was 16, this man, he would often be like, oh, hey, can you help me carry this? Can you help me do that? Can you help me da da da? I'm working a little fast food job. I'm not thinking nothing of it. You know, my little fast food job was able to get me my little first home and, you know, pay for my little stuff and this, that, and the third. So, pay for my little stuff and this, that, and the third. So, pay for my stuff or whatever. So, I'm working this little job and he will always ask me to help him. But I also had come to notice that there was all of these young black girls, me included, that would be on the shift. Now, I was one of the youngest ones, while the other girls, they were like 18, 19, 20. Even I think one of the girls, she turned 21 there. When she turned 21, she ended up quitting. No, nothing. She just, no call, no show. She never showed back up. Anywho, I was new, so it's like he always was asking me to help with things. Then I was supposed to work day shift, but he started putting me on weekend shift, and I'm working with him, and this, that, and the third. One day, I'm in the back getting like a box of ketchups or something. Dips, whatever. And he come and he passed behind me like this. And I looked back and I was like, excuse you? That was one of the first times I think he recognized I don't play that shit. Because of course, yeah, I'm here, but I've been moved a long time ago. Because my stepdad will always tell me, do not give no men grace. He always told me that. Which is crazy because that's another story for another day. I'm not even going to share that. He was a really, you know, upstanding guy when it came down to my mama's kids. That's what I'm going to say. He was there for us. He did all the stuff for us. But y'all, at the end of the day, I witnessed domestic violence at the hands of my stepdad to my mom. Right? So, can we say he's a good person? I said that at his funeral. I said, we can't really sit up here and say he's a good person. And I know the one thing that he knew about me was that I was always going to be forthcoming with speaking up on things. But aside from that, when that man did that to me at that job, my very first job, I went home and I told my stepdaddy right away. I told him. My stepdaddy dead now, so I could tell the story. He waited. I didn't quit. When I told, he took me through the proper channels. When I told my stepdad, he said, you gotta tell the person above him. At the time, I was working at a fast food restaurant that was a franchise. So the man who owned the franchises knew that I was a good worker. So he was like, he didn't want me to quit. So he said, while we investigate, we'll put you at another location. But the location he put me at, I didn't know the lady and the man was in cahoots. The lady kind of was being real mean and nasty to me. For me to be a young girl, she was so nasty to me that she put me, instead of having me work 4 days a week, which I was working, she put me to work 1 day a week. And the 1 day a week was a Saturday. Mind you, I'm in high school. A lot of the things that take place on Saturdays, I would need off. So that means I practically wouldn't be working. So, anywho, in the midst of this transition, like I said, he said, just go with the transition, this, that, and the third. I got something for his ass. Just like that, we said I got something for him. This dude was a dude that rode like one of them cars with the rims, this, that, and the third. Goes in his mouth. When I say beat that boy, beat that boy. Took the rims off his car. All type of stuff. Okay? Didn't sneak attack him or nothing. Let him know. Whatever. Now, am I saying that's the kind of accountability we need? No, that's not what I'm saying. Because I think people confuse accountability with being a vigilante. Ain't nobody asking you to be a vigilante. Because if that ain't you, just that ain't you. That ain't going to be everybody's portion. Not everybody going to be a vigilante. That's not everybody's portion. But dang, you mean to tell me, even if it got to be somebody you know for you to go there, it don't have to be. You know how many times I've intervened, seen a guy, rah, and a girl, hey, leave her alone. Because sometimes, just that, hey, leave her alone is enough. If it ain't enough, call the police. That's all I'm saying. If it ain't enough, call the police. You know, you had took out the recycle too? Yeah, sometimes it ain't enough. Sometimes you gotta just say something. That's it. No, but for real, sometimes it's just that simple. I think they stop. You know what? They stopped teaching that in school. I say when I tell y'all, I am very big on saying we didn't learn nothing at home. Everything we know, everything I know now, I learned in school. That whole idea when you see something, say something. Niggas learned that in school. We learned that in school. That ain't that concept. We need to bring that back. There's no funding. A lot of the empathy and life skill stuff that was learned, that was taught in school. Back when schools had real anti-bullying policies. There was a time and schools had real anti-bullying policies. Baby, I remember getting into a fight. I remember when having good grades meant that if you got into a fight, you wasn't going to get suspended. Because they knew that you was being bullied because you was smarter than the person who called themselves trying to fight you. It didn't used to be this everybody get in trouble because everybody did it. It never used to be like that. Y'all, I'm so little. I could barely reach the top cabinet. I hate it so bad. I really do. And look at this dog. Why he ducking his head down so he don't get hit by the cabinet? Okay, now we gotta boil up some pasta. Let's boil some water first. Alright, y'all, so I'm gonna get out of here. I've been running my mouth enough. And I gotta watch my food cook. I guess I'll wait a little bit. I got like 5 minutes. I'll be on here for like 5 more minutes. Look, let me take this last 5 minutes. To tell y'all about my nails. I gotta clean out my showcase. There's some stuff in my showcase that I ain't really banging with. I got that on my head. The auto face tracking tripod. Pin it all. Put the tripod on. Let's get it moving. Let's get it started. Hey, what's y'all plans for Memorial Day? So I had told y'all, we said we not we don't have nobody to get our content, but the reality is all you missing is this, boo. You just missing this. Hey, Coach T. Girl, I just finished doing a whole dissertation on why we should hold men accountable or how we can hold men accountable. But I'm just a woman. I told them ask other men. Anywho, tune into Black Girl Say Something because I'm going to post this over on YouTube. These last 5 minutes though, I'm going to need you to chop it for me. Put a little salt in the water. You going to eat some of this? Oh, you think because you think I'm your mama now? Where the hell is my sister at? I quit. No. You think, let me call my sister, because you think, because your sister not here, you think I'm supposed to be feeding you? Okay, so let me tell you about my nails real quick. So I polish these myself with the Beetles gel polish, and I use their matte top coat. So how cool is that? You know, recession indicator, boo. I had to polish my nails myself. The girls that get it. I love going to get my nails done, but I polished them myself this time, and so the color, it came out really cute. I used the matte top coat. It comes with a matte top coat and a gel shiny top coat. Onion powder, garlic powder, lemon powder. Yeah, my ass. Oh, you could eat some mac and cheese with your steak because it ain't gonna be enough chicken.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Okay.
I was planning on eating it later, but I wasn't sure.
With what? Where's my sister at?
See how you feeling,
And I'm making a little broccoli. I was gonna make the sweet potato, but to the left. Yeah, we not paying nobody to get our content. We're not asking nobody to get our content this summer. We're gonna get our own content. Okay, these two things, this go over here. Did my sister order us a new air fryer, or that was a dream? Because the people sent her the money for it. I need to make some watermelon juice. Oh, that's heavy. Pull it up, pull it up. Come on, stinky leg. Are you that somebody? Tell me you're that somebody. If I let this go, you can't tell nobody. I'm talking about nobody. Are you responsible? Ooh, ooh. Boy, I gotta watch my back. So, y'all like these? Y'all like these? Barbie. I'm a Barbie girl. Check my showcase. In a Barbie world, wrapped in plastic. It's fantastic. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Oh, oh, oh. Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Okay, I'm gonna make some watermelon juice later today. I'm gonna take y'all through the process of that. If y'all want a video, I can make a video of how I make some watermelon juice. It's not hard. It's just frozen watermelon. Matter of fact, it can't be frozen. You gotta let it defrost. Pick how much you're gonna throw into the blender. Let it defrost. I found a seeded watermelon, guys. When last time y'all had a seeded watermelon? So I had cut the watermelon up. I'm gonna make me me some water juice later. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Okay. There's no way for me to cover this. So I think what I might do is just put it in the fridge for it to defrost because I don't want it to defrost super duper quickly. So let's just put it in the fridge. Okay. Cheese grated. Pasta boiling. I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all.